hidden treasures of the 119th Psalm. So we are going on a treasure hunt, and the gold we are seeking in this treasure hunt is actually the face of God, pure light. So join us taking this deep dive mining with King David in the 119th Psalm. Once again today on our mining expedition, we are going to take the elevator back up to 10,000 feet. Since we are at the end of the Bet section and we're headed into Gimel, I thought it would be really fun. In fact, I know it's fun because I've already been there. To kind of go back and overview, what we have learned thus far and kind of set up where King David is taking us on this journey through the Hebrew Alef Bet. And the neat thing about the Hebrew Alef Bet is that it starts with Aleph, and we've done that, and we've done Bet. But the whole series of pictures, that each of these letters is a picture. And if you were to look at them from left to right, they themselves stand for something, and they're telling a story, and almost like a good pool game. I don't know if you've ever watched a master pool player, but when they make a shot on the one ball or whatever, they're setting up the next shot for the two ball, and et cetera, until they get all their shots set up the next shot. Well, that's what the Hebrew letters do. In other words, when you look at the Aleph, it is the wisdom that builds the house that is the Bet. And the Bet is the thing that establishes the house. And when you look at the picture of it, it's open on the left side, and realize that Hebrew letters look from left to right. So you see wisdom building this Bet. And when you look at this Bet, it's wide open on the left. And the reason it's wide open on the left is because it's a picture of hospitality. Something is going to go out of that left side. And that would be the Gimel, which is the section that we are now headed to. So I don't want anybody to miss the scripture that all comes into this, that King David is trying to show us something about these letters, their relationship to one another, but also their relationship to each of our journeys. And so our journey in faith kind of follows along this path that he's taking on as we go through this. And so it's really just a beautiful thing to me to, I think, stick back at this point in time as we finish these first 16 verses to look at where we have been in these 16 verses, but also where we're headed in the next 8. And so the Gimel is a particularly wonderful letter, again, as I am seeing this. So when you look at Proverbs 24, 3 through 4, you can see that King David obviously had taught his son Solomon, this idea, because here's Proverbs 24, 3 and 4. By wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it's established. By knowledge, the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches. And so here Solomon is helping us see the relationship between the Aleph and the Bet, and now coming into the Gimel. So we talked about how the Aleph section was based on wisdom, and then how on the Bet we were talking about, understanding and application of that, to establish the house. And now we're gonna fill it up with the Gimel, which is knowledge, which the rooms are going to be filled with precious and pleasant riches. And the Gimel has to do with, when you look at it, it looks like a foot. So the Bet, if you were to look at it, like I talked about, it's got almost like an L with a roof on it. So it's got this open side to it. I'm going to have a picture there at the website. But out of the Bet is coming this Gimel, and it's a foot. It looks like a foot because the way that the Jews would describe it is it's a rich man that is chasing actually after the poor man to give him what has been stolen from him. It gives both rewards and punishment, interestingly. And so the Gimel is very much a picture of this hospitality that is coming out of the Bet. And as we see here from what Solomon is sharing with us, that here by knowledge that the rooms are going to be filled. And so some of what obviously King David is going to be sharing with us through this Gimel section is this knowledge that is actually the wealth that King David is trying to get shared here by those of us who don't have it. So it's kind of cool that through the Aleph was the wisdom. And then the Bet, I've talked all the way through it, that we were building this house. And now comes this hospitality in the Gimel of this rich person that is going to be chasing after. And again, when we get to the Dalet, which will be after that, you'll see how that comes together with the Gimel. And the whole thing is a picture, as you look at this from right to left, that is going to build till the actual last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is Tav, which means truth. And so it's kind of cool how the whole thing is going to build truth. You see? And we're going to add all those things together. And if you're like me, I just can't hardly wait to go through this journey to see all that God has for us in going from Aleph to Tav to see. And again, when Jesus showed up in the book of Revelation, he goes, I'm the Aleph and the Tav. He's the Alpha and the Omega, but in this case, he was really the Aleph and the Tav. And he's showing us the entire journey, or King David is going to take us through that, of the Hebrew alphabet, which, again, is the expression. It's the way that the Torah itself gets expressed. It's the way that God tells his story is through these letters, and each of the letters has a picture that is setting up the gospel. Believe me, it's amazing when you look at these letters in the story that we will get to as we go through to the end. I don't think you're going to be disappointed in all that King David is going to show us and how these letters are a picture of the gospel. So, join us back down the elevator. We will be mining again tomorrow in the Gimel on verse 17.